You couldn't help yourself, could you, Mashima? You really couldn't fucking help yourself, could you? Okay, guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review / rant, so to speak, of Eden Zero, Chapter 9. And I'm gonna start off with something positive. I'll get to the rant part later because honestly, I just need to feel somewhat good before I start fucking tearing Mashima a new one for this chapter. Okay, so the chapter starts off by telling us that the little robot wasn't Michael, which I was a little disappointed about. The Mashima basically dashed away my theory about Sabir holding Granville hostage. I really think he could have done something with that, but I will admit he made, even though the rest of this chapter is garbage, he made up for it with, honestly, in my opinion, some really disturbing social commentary. Because if you think of that one line that Johnny the robot said, "We were created as toys for Master Sabir, but soon broke and were thrown away." And even though that line is strictly talking about Sabir, in a lot of ways, it really mirrors reality of what a lot of kids do. Hell, something even we as adults have probably done as kids, when it basically comes to toys. And we as kids, we pretty much love toys. We pretty much have played with toys constantly. We've played with action figures. We've played with action figures. We played with dolls. We've played with teddy bears. We've done a whole bunch of shit with them. We've played with teddy bears. We've done all sorts of fun stuff with toys. But where the interesting part of this comes into play is that there are things as kids that we don't really think about. Toys are definitely fun to play with, but the moment they break, we pretty much abandon them for something better and cooler. Pretty much we've always seen toys as basically just expendable things, and in a way that's I guess that's what they are, but we've never really taken the time. It isn't. I don't think it's really until we're pretty much adults that we really come to even kind of appreciate our childhood and the toys that we played with as childhood, and when we look back, we say, "Damn, I can't believe I treated this toy so badly," or just, yeah, it's in a lot of ways it's kind of a really dark. In a lot of ways, it's kind of a dark commentary that really makes us look at ourselves. That, yeah, we again, it's something that we can't help as kids because we don't think about it. But looking back, we definitely have mistreated our toys at one time or another, and it's in this chapter that you kind of realize that, damn, mate. Damn, you look back and say, damn, I probably should have treated that action figure better, or I should have treated that teddy bear better, or something. It really, and the thing is, it really does put in perspective that, yeah, I think there are actually a lot of times where we are, in today's world, where we do treat toys a little better now, just for the fact that we can pass it on to our children and whatnot. So, yeah, it's a really interesting commentary, I'll say that much about it. Okay, but now that I've kind of gushed about that whole freaking scene, let's get into now that I've talked about the good stuff, now that I've gotten the good stuff out of the way, let's talk about the bad stuff in the chapter, because for those who don't remember, I don't know if anyone actually watched the video all the way through, but in the review I did of the last chapter, I pretty much said that the whole setup has me basically fearful of pretty much how things are going to play out in this chapter, and I'm sad to say that my fear basically that my exact fear came to light in this chapter, and I'm not even sure where to begin, because the fight between Rebecca and the Foot brothers started off promising, but then the whole thing with the leg joke came into play, and things only got worse from there when Shiki made his reappearance. And honestly, like, after Shiki made his reappearance, it went exactly how I feared it would. With him mowing down the Foot Brothers, then one punching Zabir out of his like robot suit. And to be fair on that one, like, maybe it's just me being foolishly optimistic, but there is this very tiny, very small window to continue the fight next chapter. Sabir hasn't yet hit the ground yet, but neither am I holding my breath. And honestly, what really pisses me off about this more than anything else is that Mashima sacrificed what still could have been an entertaining fight between Rebecca and the Foot Brothers, even with the whole running gag about Rebecca's legs. And in that situation, this rant probably would have been shorter, as the only thing I would have had to rant about is the fact that he took out Sabir. But the fact that he basically, that Shiki took out both the Foot Brothers and Sabir, I gotta be a little like, what the fuck, Mashima? You basically sacrificed 2 fights. You sacrificed a good fight and possibly a second one, depending on how the next chapter goes. And that's the thing where I'm at right now. I'm kind of stuck. I find myself kind of stuck because there are things about Eden Zero's story that are still worth reviewing, but Chapter 10 really is the deciding factor here. And whenever Mashima does shit like this, it pretty much sets the standards of what we should expect. And if he confirms my fears next chapter of how this fight, of how that Sabir is going to be defeated next chapter, then it really will indicate to me that Mashima hasn't learned a damn thing from Fairy Tail, or that he honestly doesn't see a problem with the stuff he did in Fairy Tail, which, again, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not fucking sure what to think about this point. All I will say, honestly, is that for me, like, okay, I think, honestly, the thing is, Eden Zero I still kind of enjoy Eden Zero, so I'm still probably going to read it, but whatever happens next chapter, it kind of determines whether or not I'm going to continue to review it. Let's put it that way. I don't know. It's odd. I'm in a very weird position right now with Eden Zero after this chapter, and like the only good thing I can take away from this chapter in terms of the fight with Zabir is that if Mashima is ending the fight this early, it could give more time to focus on Weiss's transition into the man he's supposed to become. But even that could be reinforced a lot better if Mashima kept this fight going longer and incorporated both him and Pino into the fight somehow. Like it would basically tie up everything. Like it would basically stop Sabir from. It would basically stop. They could stop Sabir, and it would give Weiss the motivation in order to become the professor that he's supposed to be. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's just, Mashima, I'm disappointed, Mashima. That's all I can say. I'm severely disappointed. I was expecting this to be something more like Rave Master, but I was expecting the fights to be something maybe like a little more like Rave Master, where it had a little more emphasis on teamwork. But this fight to be a little more like something out of Rave Master, where it had a little more emphasis on teamwork. But I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's my rant review. Tell me what you think about it. Did you enjoy this chapter? Did you find something to enjoy about it that I didn't? But yeah, tell me what you think. And if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.